Come here, Leo. Sit with me for a moment, because what I have to tell you cannot wait another second. This morning, when the cards fell across my table, they left me in rare silence. And trust me, very little in this life renders me speechless. But what revealed itself today was so precise, so charged with meaning, that I felt the air shift around me. In this message, you are about to uncover 3 truths that will completely transform the way you understand everything that has unfolded in your life over the past few months. First, why the pain you endured was not meaningless, but necessary for what is now approaching. Second, what is happening at this very moment within the heart and mind of the person who hurt you. And third, the timing and nature of the divine reward the universe has already set aside in your name. Stay with me. Do not look away. There is a card in this reading that has never before fallen this way for a Leo, and what it reveals about your immediate destiny is so exact that when the moment arrives, you will feel a chill travel down your spine in recognition. Leo, radiant, beautiful soul of fire, close your eyes for just a breath. Inhale, exhale. I know the weight you've been carrying. I know there were nights when betrayal, abandonment, or deep injustice robbed you of sleep. Nights when you stared into the dark and wondered if God was watching it all. Moments when it felt as though you were paying the price for someone else's poor choices. As though you were absorbing consequences that were never yours to bear. But listen to me now, because the cards are speaking with a clarity that makes my hands tremble. God was not absent. God was taking notes. Every tear, every silent prayer, every time you chose dignity instead of revenge. The first card that revealed itself this morning was Justice Arcana XI. And when it landed before me, it fell upright, perfectly centered, balanced, as if the universe itself wanted to eliminate any doubt about the message. Justice is not sentimental. It is not soft. It is not indulgent toward wrongdoing. Justice is exact, cold, mathematically precise. Every action carries a consequence proportionate to its moral weight. The scales depicted on this card are no longer suspended in uncertainty, they are already tipping in your favor. And here's what you need to understand about the one who hurt you. For weeks, perhaps months, that person has been carrying a pressure they cannot explain, a restlessness, an unease that creeps in at the quietest moments, something that robs them of peace when they least expect it. That sensation is not random anxiety. It is the machinery of karma activating with millimetric precision. Justice does not shout. It does not dramatize. It tightens slowly, invisibly, until the lesson can no longer be ignored. And in the coming days, that internal pressure is preparing to manifest outwardly in a way that will be undeniable. What has been hidden will surface. What was dismissed will demand acknowledgement. But the reading did not stop there. In your position of near future brilliant, undeniable, radiant, the sun appeared. And Leo, when the sun shows up for you, it is not subtle. Yes, it speaks of material prosperity. Yes, it speaks of recognition, of doors opening, of your name being spoken with respect. But deeper than that, it speaks of peace. A peace so profound it may surprise you. You have been in survival mode for so long, guarded, defensive, braced for impact, that when serenity finally washes over you, your body may not know how to receive it at first. You have grown accustomed to bracing yourself. The sun says, you may finally lower your shield. Within the next 3 days, something in your environment will shift. It may be a conversation, a message, a decision, an opportunity. But it will arrive as confirmation that your silent endurance was not in vain. The universe has already set this process in motion. Even now, as you read these words, unseen gears are turning. But before we go deeper into what the sun reveals about your love life, your family dynamic, and your professional path simultaneously aligning, we must speak of the card that fell in the position of past obstacles. Arcana XV, the Devil. And when this card appears in the recent past of someone who has caused harm, the interpretation is unmistakable. That person acted from their darkest fears, from their own invisible chains, from wounds they never had the courage to confront. Their actions were driven by insecurity, by envy, by unresolved pain that distorted their perception of you. Understand this clearly. What they did was never truly about you. It was about their shadow, their fear of your light, their discomfort with your strength, their inability to face their own inner fractures. I am not telling you this so that you must forgive immediately. Forgiveness is sacred and cannot be forced. I am telling you this so that you can release the illusion that their betrayal was a reflection of your worth. It was not. You were never the problem. And if, deep in your heart, you recognize that someone in your life acted from envy or fear and left you wounded because of it, then acknowledge it, speak it, write it, claim your awareness, because justice has seen it. The devil has exposed it, and the sun is about to illuminate what comes next. Leo, the season of silent suffering is closing. The season of visible alignment is beginning. And when that shift fully arrives, you will not need revenge. You will have peace. And that, my fiery soul, is the most powerful victory of all. I do not carry what is not mine, and neither do you, Leo. There comes a moment when the soul grows weary of holding burdens it never agreed to bear, when you realize that the weight pressing against your chest was never yours in the first place. This is that moment. This is the turning point. It is time to set down what does not belong to you and walk forward unencumbered. Even the smallest act of self-honor, a quiet affirmation, a conscious choice to stand in your worth, is a declaration to the universe that you remember who you are. And dear Leo, every act of self-love carries its own sacred reward. Now, I need you fully present, because what came next in this reading sent a chill across my skin. I drew a third card to understand what is happening energetically, right now, in the life of the person who caused you pain. At this very moment, while you are here reading these words, breathing, healing, trying to move forward, the card that fell was the Tower Arcana 16 reversed. Leo, when the Tower appears in someone's current position after they have acted unjustly, it speaks of structures built on fragile foundations, lies, manipulation, borrowed power, harm inflicted for personal gain. And those structures are no longer stable. But this is not a dramatic lightning strike from the outside. This is more intimate, more unsettling. The Tower reverse does not signal a sudden public collapse. It signals something slower, more internal, more psychologically piercing. It is the sound of foundations cracking from within. It is the realization that what was constructed cannot sustain itself. It is the awareness, terrifying in its clarity, that the unraveling has already begun. They feel it, they know it, and they cannot stop it. The very choices they made to wound you are the same choices that weakened their own ground. Every manipulation removed a brick from their stability. Every lie hollowed out their support. What once appeared secure now trembles under the weight of truth. There is a poetic justice unfolding here, quiet, precise, almost architectural in its design. And as powerful as that was, it was not the center of the reading. The true center, the heartbeat of this entire message, came next. I lifted the central card with a strange certainty, as though something monumental was waiting beneath it. When I turned it over, I saw the World Arcana XX, a final and most elevated of the major arcana. Leo. When the world stands at the center of a reading for someone who has endured injustice, it speaks one message with crystalline clarity. The cycle is complete. What you walk through, every confusion, every tear, every moment of doubt, is closing, not fading, not lingering, completing. There is a difference. Completion is sacred. It means nothing was wasted. It means the lesson integrated. It means the karmic contract fulfilled. And what comes next is not merely a new chapter. It is a new frequency. But here is where the message deepens. The world does not arrive alone in your story. It is intimately connected to the arrival or transformation of a specific person entering your energy in the coming days. This may not be a stranger. Sometimes destiny does not introduce someone entirely new. Sometimes it elevates someone already standing within your orbit. A relationship shifts, a bond evolves, a connection reveals its true dimension. Supporting the world in this reading was the Ace of Cups. And when the Ace of Cups appears beside the world, the symbolism becomes unmistakable. This is pure emotional beginning, not calculated affection, not survival-based attachment, not love born from scarcity. This is clean, open, unfiltered. The Ace of Cups is the sacred overflow of genuine feeling. It signals a connection that carries emotional depth and spiritual resonance, a quality different from anything you have recently experienced. It is not chaotic. It is not performative. It is real. But I must be honest with you because integrity is the cornerstone of every true reading. Among these luminous cards, another appeared, the Five of Swords, and this card demands truth. The Five of Swords speaks of a victory that comes at a cost, of someone who may have won in the short term, but sacrificed something irreplaceable in the process. In this reading, it rests in the position of the person who harmed you. They may have taken something. They may have secured a temporary advantage. They may have walked away believing they stood triumphant. But in that act, they lost something far greater. And you, Leo, who may have felt defeated in that moment, preserved what mattered most. You kept your integrity. You kept your capacity to love without calculation. You kept that radiant generosity that defines you, so often mistaken for weakness when in truth it is one of the most refined forms of strength that exists. The contrast in this reading is breathtaking. The Five of Swords in their position, the world in yours. They walked away with the object of the conflict. You walked away with your soul intact. And the universe is now preparing to make visible what was once hidden, to show, in unmistakable terms, who the true victor was. Integrity is the highest form of wealth, and the universe recognizes its own. Now, take a breath, because we have reached the part of the reading that moved me most deeply. I asked the cards one final question. What will concretely happen to the one who caused this harm? What is the ultimate outcome of their path? The card that fell was the Ten of Swords. Leo, the Ten of Swords is not subtle. It is the image of finality, of reaching the absolute end of a painful cycle. It does not suggest revenge. It does not imply cruelty. It speaks of consequences reaching their natural conclusion. This is the moment when illusions can no longer be sustained, when denial dissolves, when the accumulated weight of one's own actions becomes impossible to ignore. For them, this is the bottom. But here is the deeper truth. The Ten of Swords is also the card that precedes dawn. The sky in that image is dark, but just beyond it, light is rising. For you, Leo, the message is unmistakable. What ended for them is beginning for you. Their collapse is your closure. Their realization is your release. And as the world turns, as the Ace of Cups opens, as the sun prepares to shine fully upon your path, you stand not as someone broken by betrayal, but as someone refined by it. You did not lose. You transformed. And now, the universe is aligning in ways you are only beginning to sense. Your pure soul is not your vulnerability. It is your shield. And it is your crown. The Ten of Swords is, without question, one of the most dramatic images in the entire tarot. A figure lies face down on the ground, 10 blades pressed into their back, an ending so complete it feels almost cinematic. It is the card of the lowest point, the final chapter of a painful cycle, the moment when there is simply nowhere left to fall. And when this card appears in the outcome position for someone who acted from selfishness, cruelty, or ego, it does not mean I am wishing harm upon them. It means something far more precise than a curse. It means their own choices have carried them there naturally, inevitably like gravity. Look closely, because there is a detail in the Ten of Swords that many people overlook. In the traditional image, above the horizon where that figure lies, there is a sunrise. The darkest band of sky sits right at the horizon, right where the pain seems most concentrated. But higher up, the light is already beginning. Dawn is already unfolding. For the person who did wrong, that sunrise becomes a choice, an opportunity to start again from zero if they have the humility to stand up, to tell the truth, to change. But for you, Leo, that sunrise is you. You are the dawn that is already visible while the darkness of someone else's consequences is still playing out. Even now, while they may be reaching their lowest point, you are standing at the edge of the horizon where light has already appeared. And the cards insisted on something so strongly I cannot ignore it. 3 times throughout this reading, the energy of the number 3 emerged. The 3 of Wands, the 3 of Pentacles, and a numerological alignment hinted through the dates the cards pointed toward. In tarot, the number 3 speaks of the first visible harvest of effort, the moment when what you've been building internally and externally begins to take form in the physical world. It is the stage where faith becomes evidence, where intention becomes reality. 3 days, 3 weeks, or the imprint of the number 3 embedded in a date approaching soon. Tarot is not always a stopwatch, but patterns are never accidental. And the concentration of this number in your reading is not coincidence. Something concrete, tangible, real is approaching within a window that carries the signature of 3. And Leo, if your spirit has been nudging you lately, if the number 3 has been echoing through your days in subtle ways, then let that be your confirmation. You are not imagining it. You are receiving a signal. Do not wait to activate your ability to receive. Move with faith and with action at the same time, because the universe responds powerfully to those who do both. Now, I want to tell you something personal, something that happened while I was preparing this reading specifically for Leo, because I feel it is part of the message itself. This morning, before I pulled a single card, I said my usual prayer. I asked for clarity. I asked for protection for whoever would receive these words. And in that quiet moment before anything began, I felt something with a certainty I cannot explain rationally. I felt that there was a Leo who needed to hear something very specific. What you believe you lost was not a loss. What you think was taken from you was, in truth, a poisoned gift, something the universe removed because it was never meant to remain in your hands. At the time, I didn't interpret it. I simply felt it, the way you feel thunder before you hear it. And when the cards began to fall, everything clicked, because that is exactly what the Chariot Arcana 7, which appeared as your advice card, is telling you now. The Chariot is movement, momentum, forward progress after a season of struggle. It is the moment you take back the reins and realize the story has not been decided by what happened to you, but by what you do next. But the most important part of the Chariot in this position is what lies beneath it. The horse is sometimes shown as sphinxes pulling in opposite directions. For so long, Leo, you have been tugged by forces that contradicted each other. Betrayal pulling one way, duty pulling another. Your heart wanting to heal while your mind replayed the wound. Pain, injustice, confusion, each one pulling at you like a different rope. And the Chariot says, now you have the reins. Now you decide where this goes. Now you are the one steering. There is one more thing I need to tell you about the Chariot in relation to the person who hurt you. When they see you moving forward, and they will see it, Leo, because the sun and the world in your reading make your success visible and undeniable, there will come a moment of painful clarity for them. They will understand what they chose to lose, not because you prove anything with words, but because your life will become the proof. Your progress will speak louder than any explanation you could ever give. I am not telling you this so you can crave revenge or chase validation. I am telling you because the cards show that their realization is part of the karmic closure, and that closure requires one thing from you. Keep moving. Do not turn around. The Chariot has no rearview mirror. It only has a windshield. Powerful Leo, the universe is giving you a green light, a clear path forward, a blessing that arrives when you stop arguing with the past and start investing in the future. You're like someone who knows their road is lit. And if these words found you at exactly the right time, know this. It wasn't accident. It was divine design. Before I close this reading, there is one last message. The universe wants you to receive something specific, something meant to settle deep into your spirit. Today, in that position, the card that fell was the Star Arcana 7T. And the moment I saw it there, something inside me aligned. Something softened. Something made sense with a deep, quiet satisfaction, like the universe itself whispering, yes. This is the truth. The star is the card of hope after chaos. It is faith restored after disappointment. It is divine guidance that never vanished, even when you were certain it had gone silent. In the star, a figure kneels beneath an open sky, pouring water onto the earth and back into the stream. That gesture is not random. It speaks of renewal that never ceases, of a sacred circulation, of grace that continues to flow even in the darkest night. The water touches both land and river matter and spirit, reminding you that healing happens in layers. Some of it you see, some of it moves invisibly beneath the surface. When the star appears in the position of what the universe wants you to know today, the message is direct, Leo, as direct as the heavens themselves. God heard you. Every prayer whispered into your pillow at night. Every tear that fell without an audience. Every moment you chose integrity over retaliation. It was all received, recorded, honored. The star says the response is already on its way. The guidance you feared had abandoned you never disappeared. It was working in dimensions your human eyes could not yet perceive. Just because you could not see the architecture did not mean it was not being built. And now you are beginning to see it. Not all at once. Not in fireworks, but in subtle alignments, in doors opening quietly, in peace returning where there was once turmoil. The universe has not forgotten you. And I close this reading with the final card, the one that gathers everything into a single, luminous conclusion. The Ace of Wands, the spark of pure fire, the ignition of something new, the birth of energy, passion, and purpose. The Ace of Wands is not an ending. It is an inauguration. It is the universe placing a torch in your hand and saying, the path ahead is lit. Walk it. This card does not offer borrowed power. It reminds you that the power you need is already inside you. You are Leo. You are fire. You are light. And no external darkness has the authority to extinguish what burns from within. The combination of the Ace of Wands with the star and the world in this reading is extraordinary. It is one of the most powerful sequences I have seen for this sign in a long time. The world says the cycle is complete. The star says your faith was never misplaced. The Ace of Wands says now you begin again with strength. This message found you because your heart was ready to receive it. And before you move on, I want you to carry this truth with you. Everything you lived through, every injustice, every heartbreak, every weight you carried had a purpose that is only now beginning to reveal itself. You were never merely a victim. You were becoming. You were being refined, converted, transformed into something wiser, steadier, brighter than the version of yourself that existed before the trial arrived. The person who hurt you, whether they knew it or not, became an instrument in your evolution. That does not absolve them of responsibility. The cards are unmistakably clear. Karma moves with precision, and justice does not forget. But it does change your story. You are not the one who lost. You are the one who rises. Justice, the Sunday, the world, the star, the Ace of Wands. This is not a timid lineup of energy. This is a declaration. The era of carrying the consequences of someone else's choices is over. What comes now belongs to you, built on your integrity, illuminated by your fire, protected by a divine justice that is as real as the breath in your lungs. Let this settle in your spirit. God heard you, Leo. God always heard you, even in the silence.